Hi, I'm Jasmine, and you're watching my channel, The Curious White Coat. I'm a fresh new doctor, and that means a year ago, I was in your shoes preparing for my own residency interview season. It all worked out because now I'm a PGY1, but I wanted to make this video to share a little bit on how you can have a successful residency interview season. I applied during the 2021 to 2022 residency cycle, and my season was virtual, but it's actually been recommended that programs continue to host virtual interviews in the 2022 to 2023 cycle. I really enjoyed the entire process. I liked getting to know people from different programs, and there was like this sense of fulfillment with having made it that far in medical school, and like now you get to visualize what your next steps of training are gonna look like. So I feel like I had a pretty good cycle, it was pretty fruitful, and I wanted to share some advice with you guys. Research your programs before you interview. And honestly, you probably should have done some research on them before you applied to them. Otherwise, how would you know that that's where you want to go? A program needs to be a good fit for you on a personal level, as well as a place that can support your career goals. And you need to be able to voice why it is that you want to go to that program on your interview day. I do kind of want to briefly touch on the concept of interview hoarding. Think of interviews as a limited resource that is in high demand. If you truly feel like you will not go to a certain program, don't apply there. It will waste a program's time if you choose to apply to a place that you weren't ever really gonna go to. And it also takes away an opportunity from somebody who would have liked to go to that program. You can be a better steward of your interviews by not over applying. And also, as you get through the interview season, you might realize that the lineup you have for your rank list is pretty much decided, and you may not feel like it's necessary to go on any more interviews. In that case, you can start politely declining interview invitations and do so ahead of time so that the program has enough time to extend an interview spot to another applicant. Practice, practice, practice your virtual interviewing skills. You can practice in person, which is great, but I also recommend that you practice in a virtual setting too. So download Teams, download Zoom, whatever the virtual platform is going to be. That way you're able to get acclimated to that type of environment. We also all know that body language is very important. We know the differences between like closed body language and being open and engaged. And we know how we want to portray ourselves, but there are also certain habits that you kind of want to check when you're in a virtual interview. For example, if you're someone that kind of like fiddles around with your necklaces or your watch or your hair, that's going to be noticeable to everyone on the Zoom. If you tap your foot a lot, it might look like you're kind of bouncing. And if your foot is tapping against the camera, then your camera's gonna be shaking like this throughout your interview. Let's see. Another thing I noticed is that on Zoom, if you are unmuted and you are typing, everyone is going to be able to hear the sound of the clicking of your keys. So keep yourself on mute or take handwritten notes if you're in a situation where you can't mute your microphone. Keep in mind, like, what is your interviewer seeing? So align your webcam and if you have double monitors, get those in the correct placement so that you can make sure you are looking at your interviewer and you're not like looking off and all they see is the side of your face. Kind of on that same train of thought, if you're checking yourself in the camera and you're like looking at yourself, fixing your hair, I'm not saying don't check yourself, but just be aware of how often you do that, because every time you turn to look at yourself in the camera, everyone sees you looking somewhere else rather than looking at the interviewer. So just make sure that you are looking in the right place. There are going to be some interview questions that you will get asked at some point during the interview season. So make sure you practice those common interview questions. Those are going to be things like, tell me about yourself. Why our program? What was a difficult situation that you had to overcome? You don't want to get caught off guard because these are questions that someone is going to ask you. I can guarantee you, like at some point during the interview season, someone will ask that. So practice, get a list of common interview questions. I just Googled it when I was going through the interview season, but I'll include a list of common interview questions in the description box below so that you don't have to do all of that digging. When you are answering questions, avoid regurgitating your personal statement like word for word, and you don't want to come off as rehearsed. The point of practicing is to avoid rambling and to make sure that you can give like concise, powerful answers. Make sure that you come with questions for your interviewers as well. Like, this is your opportunity to learn as much as you can about the program. So have some questions. They're gonna be excited to talk to you about their program and share what they love as well. Make sure that you are on time for your interview. Keep track of your interview dates. I had like a list that I would just strike through as I went through interviews. So as soon as I got the invitation, I'd sign up, I'd mark my calendar, and I'd put it on that little document. That way I knew when all of my interviews are going to be. So once it's interview day, make sure you have several alarms set up so that you don't sleep through them. If you're someone who's like notorious for sleeping through alarms, maybe have someone call you or come and wake you up if you have roommates or something. That way you do not miss your interview. Lay out everything the night before. I would set up my camera, my laptop. I'd have my clothes hanging and ready to go so that all I had to do was sit down on interview day. Aim to be like in your seat and camera ready, maybe like 5-10 minutes before the interview. That way you can log in to the computer, give yourself some time for some technical difficulties. Also, I wouldn't recommend trying anything brand new on interview day. So if there's a new hairstyle or maybe like a brand new breakfast food, maybe don't try that the day of your interview because you never know what could go wrong. So just kind of stick to the routine, the tried and true stuff that works for you every time. We've all heard the expression dress to impress, and I think that this is an opportunity where first impressions do matter and you really want to strive to look your best. Grooming and hygiene still matter even in the virtual landscape. If anything, they probably even matter more because now we're going to be getting a zoomed in version of you from the tip of your head to your shoulders. Please don't look like you just rolled out of bed and tousled your hair and now you've turned on the computer and you're ready to go. Style your hair, put some effort forth, like have a fresh twist out. Personally, like day 2, day 3 twist outs are the sweet spot for me. If you have locks, freshen up your roots, make sure they look nice and crisp. If you have a beard, I'm not saying to be clean shaven or bare skinned. I don't think that's necessary. But I do think you need to trim up your beard so that you look put together. If you have straight hair and maybe you want to try to curl it, practice that well before your interview, just in case it goes wrong the day of. If you're going to have straight hair, make sure you don't have flyaways coming out the top of your head. Just look as good as you can. I think we all learned from grade school picture days that you don't want to do anything too drastic the day before your interview. A major haircut or color change might not look as good as you thought it was going to be, and you want to make sure that you have some time to be able to change it before your interview. Please don't look sloppy. Iron your clothes, steam them, dry clean them, do something. Wrinkles are not cute. I know we see people who are walking around the hospital in those hospital issued scrubs and they look like they were balled up at the bottom of a hamper somewhere. But this is not the same scenario. This is your residency interview. You know, this is business formal, business casual attire, and you want to make sure that you look sharp and crisp on your interview day. If you're going to be eating anything, floss, brush your teeth again, because you don't want to have anything stuck in your teeth. We're looking at you from here to here, so everyone is going to see it if there's something in your teeth, and that would just be very embarrassing. So have a little extra floss with you so that you can go take care of stuff in between your interviews and lunch. You can bring in your own elements of your personality and your style into your attire for your interview day. Just make sure that you're showcasing yourself in the most positive light. Like if you're somebody who is really into makeup, like you already know what to do to make yourself look great. If you're someone who's not really into makeup like me, you still want to make sure that you look refreshed. Just make sure you're doing what's within your comfort zone and trying to put your best foot forward for whatever your style is. This is the day where you want to be confident and look good and feel good about yourself, because this interview is all about you and it's your time to shine. I hope this video helps y'all out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free to ask me any questions about the interview season as well. I am going to be making some more videos about the residency application process. Subscribe to my channel, The Curious White Coat, so that you don't miss out. Thank you again for watching this. Have a fantastic interview season, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.